stop.
Muscles Marco told me not to do it.
Angelo Contagonis has just shocked me. Angelo, who always gets mad when we talk about Logan or Jake Paul, saying, stop talking about these guys. You know, why are we talking about these guys? Angelo just asked me. He just asked us in the chat, what do you guys think of Logan Paul signing with the WWE? And we were going to get to it. We might as well get to it now before we hit up UFC 276. And I'm going to gloat about how well I did on my picks last weekend. I'm going to talk about that and how I won everybody money. Hopefully somebody went with Team Dave. I went with Team Dave and did pretty well last weekend, let me tell you. But Angelo, usually you don't want to hear about Logan Paul. I know a lot of times I talk about Logan Paul and Angelo's like, stop talking about these guys. I hate these guys. But now he wants us to he wants to talk about Logan Paul, and I like it. I'm down to do it, my friend.
Angelo, you owe me an apology. Remember, you were getting mad at me, but I told you that these guys are going to be the most talked guys in like sports, and it's true, man. If it's not Jake, it's Logan, man.
I have changed my opinion about the Paul brothers, and I'm sure a lot of people are changing their opinions about the Paul brothers. And you know, I think they've gone from heel to babyface. At first, everybody hated these guys, but over time, they've proven themselves.
Yep.
They've made themselves from a joke to legitimate. Say what you want about Jake Paul. He knocked a former UFC welterweight champion unconscious with one punch.
Well, one of the best knockouts of the year as well. Let's not forget that.
He relieved Tyron Woodley of his consciousness.
Yep.
That's very impressive.
He saw aliens.
That was legit. You can't argue with that. And for Logan, I mean, you could say what you want about the Mayweather fight. It was an exhibition. Did Floyd help him up? I don't think Floyd tried very hard. I think that's really what it comes down to. I think that Floyd is old and he didn't try very hard. It's a combination of two things why Logan Paul managed to survive that. Also, Logan Paul outweighed Floyd by like 50 pounds in the fight.
Yeah.
Which, you know, he still lost. Like, if you were to judge it, Logan Paul lost that fight, but he still went in there with Floyd Mayweather and had a go of it. But I think in the WWE, he's made himself legitimate. When I see Logan Paul in pro wrestling, I think he's perfect. He was really good at WrestleMania in the ring. He's got a very good look for professional wrestling. He's bigger than a lot of the guys that are there at this point. He's a tall, big guy. He's in shape. He's got a good look. He can talk. He's got a huge following outside of pro wrestling that has been proven to follow him. And that's what I think is really big about WWE signing a guy like Logan Paul to apparently, you know, multiple events and stuff like that. He's going to be around for a bit, maybe like a Ronda Rousey deal where he sticks around for a year and, you know, works pay-per-views and stuff. It seems like he's not just in it for one match at SummerSlam. He's going to be in it as kind of a full-time character in the WWE, not necessarily making every show, but making a lot of the major shows over the next year or so. So that's a lot. That's big for the WWE because they follow him. You know, when he's a YouTube guy doing his YouTube thing, his fans are watching. They're you know, getting millions of views on everything he's doing. He does a podcast. It's successful. He goes over to boxing. He's breaking pay-per-view records. The fans of the Paul brothers follow these guys wherever they go, so they're going to follow them to the WWE. I think a lot of these people are going to go over and they're going to get new wrestling fans, which I think is always great. Whenever you could bring in people that don't watch professional wrestling to start watching wrestling, I think that's great for me and you and everybody that's involved in one way or another pro wrestling. You know, if you're involved in pro wrestling in some way, you want more people watching it, so it's the most popular thing in the world, so people are interested in what you're interested in and what you're doing and stuff like that, right? Like, it's good for everybody when everybody likes wrestling. When wrestling is mainstream and everybody's interested in it, like it was in the late 90s, you know, it's good for wrestling because everybody's into it. Whether it was WCW or WWF or whatever it is now, you need more people watching, and that's really a point that we need to drive home a lot of times on the wrestling shows here on the network. is that there's just not enough people watching professional wrestling these days. There's not enough people. And a lot of people are just watching YouTube videos. And we need those people to come over and watch pro wrestling. And that's where Logan Paul comes in. So good move by the WWE. And Logan Paul is a huge move. Good on the WWE for doing that. Big.
Dave, you know what? You forget to mention a few things. I mean, when you're talking about Logan and Jake Paul, like you look at some wrestlers, they don't even have some foundational wrestling. But Logan Paul, man, was a Division I like wrestler, and actually he was pretty good at it. In fact, he was so good that he was a savage, according to a lot of people, not only in Division I wrestling, but in football. Savage. Listen, man, regardless, what it comes down to is this guy knows how to wrestle, and he knows how to wrestle for real. And that's the difference. They might be like podcasters and YouTube stars and whatever, but everything they've touched, they've succeeded at. And I mean, there's not too many guys out there that have done what these guys did. And I'm going to toot my own horn. And I said it, and you shot me down. Fred shot me down. The world shot me down. Yes. Angelo shot me down. And I said it from the first time I saw these guys when my nephew called me and told me, listen, the best boxer in the world's fighting. And I'm like, who the hell is this guy? I don't know him. And I saw the numbers that were coming in and the money coming in to see this YouTube guy fight. I said that this guy was going to change the face of sports. And I was damn right. I said it before Joe Rogan. I said it before Sarah. I said it before every Marshmallow, Alien, GSP, and Ringside Report crew that got on me. I was right, dude. This guy is changing the face of sports. And I think it's fantastic because you know what? He's bringing in views into boxing, which they didn't have. He's bringing views into the WWE, which they need. You know, he's bringing views into the UFC where he's talking smack, and he's actually beat like Woodley, man. Woodley was a beast, a champion. No one would ever thought that a YouTuber was going to knock him out. And in fact, like I said, that was the best knockout in. Yeah, you did. You did call it. I didn't believe it.
You didn't.
I didn't believe that he was going to knock him out. You're right. I knew he was going to win, but I didn't think he could knock out Tyron Woodley that went like toe to toe with so many guys and never got knocked out the way Jake Paul knocked him out. It was ridiculous. The difference is that Jake and Logan Paul can wrestle for real and smash a lot of those guys that are in the WWE.
Boom!
You know?
There it is, Angelo. It didn't make noise.
It's okay, Angelo. I'll wait for your apology. I'll wait for your apology, but you know I was right. And I never thought I would see the day that Angelo... What?
Eric asking us a good question. You know, Logan Paul, it's good for the WWE. I'll get Johnny North's thoughts on the Logan Paul and the WWE tomorrow night here, 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Ringside Report Network. Eric says Jake Paul, his opponent Tommy Fury, was supposed to fight him on August 6th, but apparently Fury's having trouble getting into the U.S. because of the Fury association with the Kinahan cartel, and anybody that's ever been associated with those guys is having trouble getting into the United States. I wonder how that's going to affect Conor if he does try to come back to the States and fight. I don't think that it will because he's Conor McGregor and he's super famous, and Tommy Fury is just Tyson Fury's brother. You know, if this were Tyson Fury who was fighting in the States, I don't think we'd have a problem. Tommy Fury will probably wind up getting into the States and fighting, but I think it's just, you know, who you are, and Tommy Fury is not super rich and famous like Conor McGregor or Tyson Fury. He's just Tyson Fury's brother. He's just Jake Paul's next opponent. He's a jabroni to the stars right now. I think he's about to get smashed by Jake Paul. I'm going to call Jake Paul knocking him out as well. I think that's going to happen on August 6th if Fury can even get into the country because of his association with a known international crime lord who's now being wanted by like every police agency in the world. You know, and Conor's been associated with these people as well. Sports. It's crazy. It's crazy, but yeah, if Tommy Fury doesn't fight, there's a chance that it's Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva instead. And I would think that if I'm Jake Paul, I am praying that we get Tommy Fury into the United States because the Spider would smash him. I think that's the fight I want to see. I'm a fan of Jake Paul. I think he's great, but I'm a bigger fan of Anderson Silva. I think Anderson Silva is the man, and as a pure striker, he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, I've ever seen. and him in boxing, even at this age, is still a very serious threat to most guys out there. So I got Anderson Silva all day. I hope we see that fight. Anderson is big. He's Paul's size, and I think he would beat up Jake Paul, and I'd love to see it. But
look,
I don't
man,
know. If that happens, I'm very excited.
Dave,
Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury does nothing for me. I don't care. I'll probably watch it because I love Jake Paul, and he's so cool. But I don't care about Tommy Fury. But I would be hyped to see Jake Paul versus Anderson Silva. I'd be very excited about that.
Look, I'm going to say something. I'd rather see the Tommy Fury fight because Tommy is a boxer. Again, I think Jake Paul, the way he's training, the people that he has in his camp, everything that's going for him, this guy is, like they say, a savage, man. He's only getting better and better. He has everybody he needs to make him a next level fighter. Tommy Fury as a boxer is exactly that. He's a very boxy fighter. He doesn't have like that same rhythm, that same speed, like Jake or Logan Paul has. To be honest, I mean, I don't think Tommy Fury could beat Jake Paul. And I honestly believe now, and Anderson Silva has been one of my greatest fighters of all time. I have so much respect for Anderson Silva, even with the kick. Listen, man, total respect for Anderson Silva. Best. Yeah. Well, he's the best. But I'm going to tell you this. I don't think he has what it takes at his age to be able to beat Jake Paul.
How dare
I think Jake Paul is going to hurt Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva has great boxing. There's no doubt about it. Before he got into MMA, he had a couple of professional boxing matches. The guy knows boxing. But I'm telling you, Jake Paul is going to take his lights out. He's going to hurt Anderson Silva. And remember what I said. What are we today? We're at what, the 30th? We're almost like Canada Day. So remember this day.
If it happens, bet. We're betting. Bet99.com. Bet with Bet99. You're wrong. Bet with me.
No, man.
Forget Bet99. Bet with me. Straight up. I'll take that action. What?
Anderson Silva is going down, dude. I've been looking at it more and more, and I couldn't believe that I'm going against Anderson Silva, but I'm so much more on Team Jake Paul, man. I'm telling you. Jake Paul's going to hurt him, dude. Jake Paul is going to be, I'm telling you.
Trust me, I back.
No. Anderson Silva, the spider's going to get clenched up, put in a spider web, and thrown back to Brazil because he's going to get hurt. I'm telling you. Jake Paul is no joke, man.
I don't think so.
And we can see that. We saw that with many fights.
Before we do, though, how about Logan Paul signing with the WWE? Seems like a multi-event, multi-match deal, not just for SummerSlam. Miz cut a promo talking about Logan Paul and saying that they're going to team up at SummerSlam and that they're going to be undisputed tag team champions one day. Then AJ Styles winds up beating The Miz by countout after Miz bailed on the match. AJ's nose and cheek were kind of bleeding after that match. Kind of a rough one for AJ. But Miz...
knee,
was it a knee?
It looked like it was the knee, yeah.
Oh, Miz, he's so talented. He can really, keep his weapons in check. Good job. But I guess it won't be Logan Paul and The Miz in a team. I think it's going to be Logan Paul versus The Miz because Logan Paul signs a deal now with WWE. He says he's coming for The Miz. I think it's going to be Miz versus Logan one-on-one because Miz did hit his skull-crushing finale on Logan Paul after their WrestleMania match. Miz said it was just a lesson and that they're all cool, but I think Logan Paul wants revenge. And I guess is going to come into the WWE as a babyface.
Ooh, good luck with that.
Yeah. WWE signs a big star and already not sure how to use him. Put him up against The Miz as a babyface. I think that's going to be a SummerSlam match, though, right? Logan Paul versus The Miz. Logan Paul's a heel. WWE needs to figure that out. Maybe they'll figure it out when The Miz is treated like the babyface for the SummerSlam crowd. You know what I mean? Like, when they do that match, the fans... wrestling fans are going to cheer for The Miz because he's a wrestler. And they're going to boo Logan Paul because he's a heel guy. WWE doesn't know that because they're completely out of touch. But Miz is going to get cheered at SummerSlam. Miz, who's the worst. But good for them signing Logan Paul because he's a big star. I talked about it a little bit last night on Ringside Report MMA. You know, he's a guy that people follow. When he does his boxing thing, people tune in. When he does his videos on YouTube, people watch. When he does a podcast, people watch. His fans follow him anywhere. So hopefully they'll follow him to the WWE and get more WWE fans. That's the name of the game. Try to bring more people into the show. Hopefully Logan Paul can bring in more fans to the WWE. And I think he's going to be good as a wrestler. Like, from what I saw at WrestleMania, he was pretty good. I think he's going to be good for the WWE. A long-term deal, multi-events, I think that's great. Good for them.
Well, it's amazing, like, the way it worked out. But, you know, AJ was right. Like, Logan Paul became one of the biggest stars, I think, in wrestling. It's crazy how that's already happened, but it happened so fast.
It's good, right? Nothing bad about this. This is a good signing from WWE.
It's huge because now you have someone who's like somewhat over with the mainstream audience and like can actually somewhat wrestle. So this is gonna be really good. Like, I don't expect to do like live events. They'll probably just do like maybe the random Raw.
Yeah.
You know, maybe not even all the premium live events either. Might just be the big one, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, stuff like that possibly. But still, just to have him around, the buzz he'll create, that's huge. Like he'll push up the ratings for sure.
That's it. Seeing him at WrestleMania made me realize he's bigger than most of the wrestlers already. He's in top shape. Right. He's got a good look. He's pretty athletic. He's not bad at wrestling. He's got a hell of a personality. People either love him or hate him, and that's what you want. He's one of the biggest stars in the world today. You could hate him, you could love him, whatever you want. The guy moves the needle, you know? You don't get Floyd Mayweather in the ring with no boxing experience unless you're a massive star. You know, Logan Paul managed to get Floyd Mayweather to box him. It's not worth it for Floyd Mayweather to box any old jabroni guy that means nothing to the culture. Logan Paul is a big star, and I know people are like, what? Why? Because he's famous, you know? Because he's famous. Not many people in the WWE are as famous as Logan Paul. Apparently, that picture that they posted there of Logan Paul signing with WWE was the most liked picture that WWE has ever posted on Instagram.
Not surprised.
I mean, you know, that counts for something. I'm not sure what, but it counts for something. He's worth something. Yep, huge fan base.